So there's some very good news going on in social evolution and cultural Marxism. Apparently, 36% of males in Japan and 59% of females are not interested in sex whatsoever. We're not just talking about not having a baby. We're talking about not wanting to have sex. And this is very valuable. This is what we need to move humanity into a new direction, into a better direction. I use cultural Marxism as a positive, even though in most media outlets it's a negative. I do admit that cultural Marxism probably played a role in social liberalism, but that liberalism has blown up in our faces like a cartoon cigar. It is not something that has helped us in any way, and while it has decayed the morality of the West, it has not helped us further the goals of communism. So I do not consider liberals an ally, only an abomination, a Frankenstein's monster. So, anyway, about the sexuality thing, a lot of people call me misogynist because in my future vision, I see society being where women are put in breeding facilities and men procreate with them ritualistically. Women can only get pregnant once every 9 months. And how many kids can they have within those 9 months? If you're lucky, 2, 3, and genetically they're about the same anyway when you have twins. So, there's really no forcing an increase in human population. You're going to get what you're going to get. And, they can try all they want with incentives, they can try to give them hormones, it doesn't matter. Essentially, you're only going to get so much at a time. But when human beings become unified, the only reason we do not want overpopulation right now is because we live in a capitalist society where we look at our fellow human being as competition. That's the only reason why overpopulation is such a problem, and that's why liberals are reactionary, because they believe in abortion and eugenics and condoms and other forms of birth control because they want to control the population growth because they're afraid of the competition. They are ascribing to the imperialistic mindset that if there's more people, suddenly you're going to go without. There's not going to be enough food for everybody. There's not going to be enough housing for everybody. There's not going to be enough jobs for everybody. That's a capitalist state of mind. A communist state of mind is every human being is invaluable to the collective whole, and that we as a society, we as an organic whole, contribute to our own ascension. We need every participant in order to evolve. And when we stop looking at each other as competition, and we stop looking at each other as, rivals, and we look at each other as part of a bigger body, then everything will get better. You'll no longer have to worry about whether or not you got pregnant at 16. You won't have to worry about, whether or not your job is better than someone else's job. It doesn't work that way. What works is what betters mankind. What betters things for all living beings. It's not even just about mankind. It's about how mankind is the only life force on this earth anyway, that has any greater understanding that we don't have to live in constant struggle and turmoil. We don't have to kill each other and eat each other and live bloody and brutal. We can do something better with our lives. We have the intelligence, we have the mandibles, we have opposable thumbs, we should use them. And that is something that people just commonly don't understand. So rather than go into all that detail, they just want to call me misogynist. Because, yes, in the future, women will not be seen as a man would, because women would be in the breeding facilities making babies so that they could make recruits for the future. And this would be a perpetual motion machine. And, a lot of people have a problem with that. I don't understand. Can you tell by my demeanor? I honestly don't get why people have a problem with that. I don't understand why that makes people so angry. I mean, I'm not saying women are dumb. I'm not saying women are inferior. I am just saying that because they have a uterus, their vagina makes them most valuable as a breeder. And as a breeder, they have an important role to play, making future soldiers, future scientists, future everything. And once we abolish capitalism, we can have that. And then everyone can live better. What is so wrong about that? And, the thing about it is, a lot of people don't like abortion. A lot of people like abortion and eugenics and birth control because they want to believe that most people are essentially bad. And it's true. People are bad. Most people are slack-jawed, stupid assholes that are selfish, mean, unforgiving, deceitful. All they do is lie and bullshit everything, every step of the way. But that does not somehow deteriorate the value of those that don't. You get what I'm saying? Like, for every 20 people that are useless eaters and could live or die and it wouldn't matter, there is one person that is worth a shit. There is one person that is a scientist or an artist or a creator of some sort. And we should not, rob ourselves of having that one person over the 20 that are bullshit. Because even if we have birth control and shit, we're not going to be guaranteed to have less of the bullshitters. We're just going to be guaranteed to have less of the scientists and the creators and the artists, etc. So we're only robbing ourselves. We're only hurting ourselves by allowing limitations on procreation. We should be forcing procreation. We should be making people have as many children as possible, whether that be through consent or not so consensual. And that's, again, where people start to disagree with me. But when you look at it as purely evolution, as purely social progress, there is no choice. There is no argument. It merely is, you like living in this position. You like being in this rut. You like seeing humanity struggle every step of the way. And some might ask me, well, then why are you for people not being interested in sex at all? Because when they're not interested in sex at all, they are no longer choosy about how they have sex, I guess you could put it. They're no longer caring about having sex for entertainment. Capitalism is big on consumerism. They're no longer having sex for recreation. They're not having sex because it's cool to do. They're not having sex to bear a family and, give inheritance to those children and continue on having certain people own the land. So, capitalism has always been revolved around sex, whether it be the prostitutes or whether it be the Christian household, conservative values, family. Because even the Christian values are despicable because they only have those values so that someone in their family line can own the land and resources. It isn't because they're good people. It isn't because they have good morals. It's because they want to make sure that someone can be entrusted with their power and their ownership that they can raise to be almost like them. So that's all it's about. It's about power. And whether it be the power of debauchery and liberalism or the power of conservatism and Christian values, it's still capitalism. And that's what I'm trying to get across to you here. So when people are no longer interested in sex, they cannot be controlled by those principles. They cannot be controlled by either the conservative or the liberal state of sexual intercourse. And then from there, they can do their civic duty to have sex. They can look at sex like jury duty, and they'll go and do it, and the genetics will mix together, we'll have another baby, and eventually everyone will be like that. And then we will just have sex for the mere purpose of procreation, as it was intended to be. I can't say as intended to be, as I don't particularly believe in that kind of God that believes that, but I do believe that that is the best hope humanity has for our survival, is that we look at sex merely as something needed to be done in order to continue our species. And not just continue it, but to make it improved, where, we have as many human beings as possible, and with that, as many good human beings as possible, as many artists, scientists, doctors, lawyers, whatever, as we possibly can have. And hopefully, eventually, all those good, smart people will overlapse and suffocate those that aren't so smart and good. And will replace them, and will, because I don't believe in genocide, I don't believe in eugenics, but I do believe in integration, and eventually everyone will be good and prosperous. And that's what I'm trying to get across to you here. So, see you later.